When we got together, John came to me with a manuscript. He and another inmate, when he was in prison, had put something together. They were fascinating stories. They weren't that well written, but they were fascinating, and it was kind of the skeleton around which I was able to build this story.
After their book came out in 2015, George Anastasia wrote an article saying that mob rat John Alite came to him with a typed manuscript of more than 300 pages that he and another inmate had put together while they were cellmates in a federal prison. The stories were great, the writing not so good. I used the manuscript as a guide for the next year. However, after John Alite's brother, Jimmy Alite, came forward to expose his lies, Jimmy stated that his brother's original author and cellmate in witness protection was none other than Michael Blutrick. After which, John Alite was asked numerous times on social media if that was true. But John Alite, he never answered. Instead, he said on the radio in April 2017,
"Well, I'll tell you what, I was good friends with Mike Blutrick, and he's, they constantly knock him because he's my personal friend. But I have no, qualms with saying that this guy's my personal friend."
Problem. What John Alite failed to mention, and what George Anastasia also left out of their book, where he noted that Alite and Blutrick were longtime friends who served time in witness protection together, and what Blutrick left out of his own fictionalized memoir, is that Michael Blutrick admitted in court to downloading child pornography and didn't have to plead guilty to more heinous charges because he was a government cooperator. Michael Blutrick was labeled a pedophile by numerous news outlets, but specifically by Gangland News, which Anastasia is a longtime writer for, which is run by Jerry Capici.
Jerry Capici, my good friend in New York.
Who Anastasia described in his and Alite's book as the dean of mob reporters in America.
If any of you people are familiar with Jerry Capici, he's the dean of organized crime. He understands everything in and out.
So he and John Alite must find his information credible. In 1998, Jerry Capici wrote that in 1994, Michael Blutrick pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct charges stemming from sexual abuse allegations from a teenage boy who played on a basketball team that Blutrick managed. That the boy's mother said there were other victims, but that they were scared off by him because he was a powerful lawyer. Capici wrote that the boy alleged that Blutrick took him to Scores, the strip club he owned, and gave him a bracelet and other gifts in return for sexual relations. The allegations fueled a probe by the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office that uncovered similar charges from other teenage males. Investigators, for example, learned that Blutrick and a 17-year-old boy had rented a Staten Island apartment in 1992. However, in a 1998 expose for Penthouse magazine, USA Confidential, at the time probably the most in-depth journalistic account of Blutrick's alleged predatory activities, former NYPD detective turned reporter John Connolly described how Blutrick got close to his victims, how he even, quote-unquote, volunteered to coach a team of 11 to 13-year-old basketball players, and how he would even, quote-unquote, invite young boys over to his home and perform experiments on them. And of course, how Blutrick allegedly got away with it. I'd rather not repeat all the allegations here, as some of them are quite graphic, but if you'd like to read them, you can do so at johnalitefacts.com/pedophile. John Alite himself, he's repeatedly declined to answer questions for johnalitefacts.com because he lacks the guts to. So on October 24th, 2017, I confronted him outside Brooklyn Federal Court, where he's being sued for defamation for, among other things, lying on Facebook that podcaster Jeff Canarsie of Mob Talk Radio was molested as a child by his mother, something Alite did after Jeff began calling out his lies in 2016. Similar to what happened in 2015 when I began exposing Alite's lies. What did he do? He lied on a podcast that I was molested by my father, something that never happened. After which, in 2017, John Alite threatened his older brother Jimmy via this text message on the screen, this one right here. He threatened to lie and tell people that Jimmy jerked him off when they were children, something Jimmy absolutely denied, and which I believe his sick brother would lie about. But why would he have threatened to tell such a sick lie? One reason is because Jimmy told people that his brother John Alite was lying when, to get sympathy, he told people he was molested as a child by a Catholic priest. But I went down to the courthouse that day to try to ask John Alite why he had Michael Blutrick, of all people, who admitted to downloading child pornography, live in a cell with him and write the first draft of his book. actually, first, I tried to question his lawyer and agent, Doug Anton, who also represents disgraced mob rat Sammy Gravano, because John Alite, like the coward he is, he was inside trying to get an escort from the U.S. Marshals because he didn't want to face me and my camera phone.
How do you feel that the first draft of John Alite's book, Gotti's Rules, that the co-author was a pedophile, Michael Blutrick?
Oh, I thought you meant George Anastasia. I was had a heart attack. I was like, what?
No, John Alite wrote it with his cellmate in prison. How do you feel that it was a pedophile?
I heard this was a allegation.
But it no longer is just an allegation. After asking John Alite numerous times if it was true that Michael Blutrick, an accused pedophile, wrote the first draft of his book.
Why did a pedophile write the first draft of your book? Why did pedophile... You can't even answer. Why did pedophile write the first draft of your book? Why did pedophile write the first draft of your book?
In a fit of rage, he finally admitted what we long knew. That Michael Blutrick, who admitted to downloading child pornography and was accused of molesting and having sexual relations with multiple underage males, he admitted that Michael Blutrick really did write the first draft of his book.
Why did pedophile write the first draft of your book?
Because he knows a lot about John Alite. 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 Because he knows a lot about John Alite.
Oh, so you admit Michael Blutrick wrote the first draft of your book?
Now, it should be said that Michael Blutrick himself admitted in multiple interviews that he never met John Gotti Jr.
And what happened with John Jr.?
I never met John Jr.
What should also be said, though, is that the Gangland News and Penthouse Magazine stories reported that in a 1990s plea bargain, Michael Blutrick agreed to undergo a year of therapy, similar to John Alite, who was also ordered to get therapy, mental health treatment, by his sentencing judge, Susan C. Bucklew, in 2011, making one wonder, what else did they have in common? I'm not sure, but those news stories reported that Blutrick's court-ordered therapy stemmed from sexual abuse allegations made against him by underage males. What I do know for sure, though, is that John Alite, he claims to be a changed man. However, no man would ever live in a tiny cell with someone who admitted to downloading child pornography and was accused of sexually abusing children, and especially wouldn't have one write their book. What I've also learned, though, is that there is a pattern here. Is Michael Blutrick a pedophile, or just an accused pedophile, since, to my knowledge, he only admitted in court to downloading child pornography? I'm honestly not sure what the right term is. But what I do know is that in the Penthouse story, former NYPD detective turned reporter John Connolly referred to him as a convicted pedophile, and retired FBI agent Jack Garcia, who infiltrated the same Gambino crime family that both Blutrick and Alite were witnesses against, he recently referred to Blutrick as just a pedophile on Twitter.
Why did pedophile write the first draft of your book?
Because he knows a lot about John Alite.
Oh, so you admit Michael Blutrick wrote the first draft of your book?
However, when John Alite's longtime friend John Parsons was recently asked what he thought about a pedophile having written the first draft of Alite's book, he didn't seem to care. He even suggested that Blutrick may have been chosen because he was, quote-unquote, the cheapest on the market. I first learned about John Parsons after he left me a threatening voicemail from a blocked ID on behalf of John Alite on March 28th, 2018.
Do you, your family, me, these guys, do everybody a favor. Just within his option, too. I mean, if you want to be a wise guy and, keep your shit up, I can't promise you that, somebody's not going to take it the wrong way, and
the next day, his voice was identified, and after a background check, my team not only learned that he had a long history of arrests, including sexual assault of a minor, drugs, stalking, obscenity, even sending naked photos of a woman to the school where she worked, but similar to Michael Blutrick, we even learned that he was arrested in 2017 for possession of child pornography. Specifically, according to reports, for allegedly uploading to the internet a video of an adult male raping a prepubescent girl. But as we were uncovering all this, at the same time, our minds were blown. Because John Alite, he was writing online that the youth need to know about his real friends like John Parsons. Look at the screenshot. He was even saying that he was going to go on TV with John Parsons. But these are the kinds of guys that John Alite uses to do his bidding. These are the kinds of people that John Alite associates with. These are the friends of John Alite. Learn more at johnalitefacts.com.
What's the status of your relationship with Michael Blutrick? What do you think of Michael Blutrick? What's your relationship with Michael Blutrick? George Anastasia said that your cellmate helped you write the first draft of your book. Your cellmate was a pedophile, Michael Blutrick. You say that Michael Blutrick on the Mike Calta show, I think was your good friend, your good personal friend. What's your relationship with Michael Blutrick? What's your relationship with Michael Blutrick? Why'd you say that Michael Blutrick was a good guy on the radio?
Listen, you're a clown. You're a dumb.
Why'd you say you can't answer a question? What are you so scared of?